Conservative Party came to London for its 1949 conference, and in the Empress Hall found an admirable location, with wide approaches where the mobile film van could show the previous day's proceedings to you as you entered, and above all with plenty of room inside. Once through the turnstiles, you could readily find yourself a place in an auditorium which seats 10,000 people. On the first day before the opening of the conference, a religious service was held, prayers being said by the Bishop of London and the moderator of the Free Church Federal Council.
Thy Spirit, that all peoples may be gathered under one banner.
Then the chairman, Mr. Douglas Graham, made his initial remarks about the significance of the conference. At this time, it wasn't known whether there would be an immediate election or not.
And we alone can give to the country that pride in work, that pride in thrift, that pride in self-help, that reward for accomplishment, that dynamic leadership, and that national faith upon which in the last analysis this country must depend.
Among the early speakers was Mr. Ivor Thomas MP, who made a graceful acknowledgement.
I thank the Conservative Party for its generosity to the repentant sinner.
On the same morning, the confidence of his party in the face of a forthcoming general election was expressed by Mr. Eden.
Under Mr. Churchill's leadership, we can accept the challenge. It cannot come too soon.
But as we now know, the election was put off. The mass meeting on Friday evening was the climax of a most memorable conference. Every one of the 10,000 seats was filled for Mr. Churchill's magnificent address, and he was in great form. Supported by Lord Woolton and members of the Shadow Cabinet, with Lord Swinton in the chair, he expounded Tory policy and dealt trenchantly with the failures of the socialist government.
In our statement on Tory outlook and aspiration, I'm not afraid of the word Tory, I may say. Which we have called the right road for Britain. In our statement, we have set forth in much detail the mood and temper in which our half of the nation, and it may well be the better half, and it may well prove itself the larger half, approach the future. But there is one thing which I want to make clear tonight, above all else, and that is the position of the Conservative Party whenever the election comes. We are not going to try to get into office by offering bribes and promises of immediate material benefits to our people. It would be far better for us to lose the election than to win it on false pretenses. All I will promise to the British electorate in your name, and the only pledge that I will give on behalf of the Conservative Party, is that if the government of Britain is entrusted to us at this crisis in our fate, we will do our best for all, without fear or favor, without class or party bias, without rancor or spite, but with the clear and faithful simplicity that we showed in the days of Dunkirk. The driving force of socialism is class hatred and envy. As I told the House of Commons a fortnight ago, the American Constitution declares all men are born equal. The British Socialist Party adds all men must be kept equal. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is contrary to nature and fatal alike to prosperity and freedom. In these 4 years, the socialist government have begged, borrowed, or exacted, and have spent 16,000 million pounds, or nearly as much as was spent in the 20 years between the two wars. It's a fact that takes some thinking about. While this riot of spending has been going on, the spendthrifts themselves have exhorted us to save more, to work harder, and to endure austerities. Great efforts have been made by the British people in their loyalty. But at the end, all we have come to is devaluation. And I sum up the picture at home. Control, devaluate, and flatten out. That is the message of the socialist government. And to it we oppose our conservative policy. Liberate the genius and initiative of our race. Revive and stabilize the value of the money on which wages, pensions, and social services are based. Build with enterprise and courage the forward and ever-changing structure of our industrial and agricultural life, without which this island cannot live or its population be sustained. There is the contrast in the two policies which lie before you. The empire. That is the word we use. Nor are we ashamed of the word British, even. The British Empire, its unity, its development, and its consolidated strength. I hope all conservatives will call it the British Empire and Commonwealth of Nations. And let other parties imitate us as they learn. But there is our first thought and dream and aim. Yes, and at home, as well as throughout the world, we shall strive to carry forward that great social evolution which has covered the lifetime of the oldest of us here, namely the bringing forward of ever larger numbers of mankind to an ever more bountiful table of moral and material rewards. To this process of unceasing, untiring expansion and advance, the Conservative Party devotes itself, and linking as we do the past with the present, we shall gain for all the mastery of the future.
Enthusiasm was prolonged as delegates cheered their redoubtable leader.